Well, boys, today is tomorrow and Mutahar back in the news. Alright, the engineer, alright, I can't say the hard art now, alright, that's a slur. If I say engineer, it might be over for me. But it might already be over for me because the algorithm is trying to strangle out the fishbowl. Boys, go ahead. If you're new to the fishbowl, you know, the water is nice. Hop in. Please subscribe. Join. It is always nice to see new people. And plus, we're trying to hit 30K by the end of August. Hopefully, we can get there. But I don't know. It seems like the algorithm really choke slamming the shit out of the channel right now. But also, to remain in the fishbowl, I have to let you guys know, don't forget to like and leave a comment because you have to engage with the videos to remain in, you know, this algorithmic sphere because the ever-changing algorithm just needs more and more from you. So please take a little time out of your day to just leave anything at all. But other than that, you know, thank you for, you know, even watching, you know, for people even watching, but you know. Let's get back to the video. This man is back in the news, alright. He put out a video after being MIA for a week. I guess he had to come to terms with realizing that he's not an engineer. Because like everyone else on the internet, hell, even my boy Omnificent, Infernal Omni has even been talking about how, you know, the UK basically just did a full-on power grab, alright? They fucking ulted on their citizens. And essentially, a lot of them are, well, freedom-wise, right? They're fucked on the internet. So, he wanted to make a video on that, alright? We know Mutahar Someordinarygamers. He is a cybersecurity man, alright? He is all about the Linux, alright? And there's no way that he could even go another day without speaking about this travesty that's happening over there in the UK and many parts of the world now. Hell, even in the US, they're trying to take our rights away here on the internet and our anonymity. But we're not talking about that right now because Muta really needed to talk about this topic, but there's no way he could, you know, talk about it and ignore, you know, the elephant in the room. The literal elephant in the room. His lack of an engineering degree. All right, he couldn't engineer his way out of this one. All right, he probably had a beautiful joke that will never see the light of day, like Dave Chappelle. All right, the lost script, because he can no longer, you know, flash his engineer badge just quick enough for you to see it, but not quick enough for you to see if it's real. So in the middle of this random video, as he usually does, he addresses this whole entire drama. All right, and I think he had at least a decent response, alright? I don't think it was the best, but I definitely don't think it was the worst, alright? The boy didn't even pull out a musical instrument, so, you know, it's pretty boring. But, you know, here it is.
Now, I used the E word over there, and I want to just start talking a little bit. I know there's been some drama, and I want to kind of address things here really quickly. So, obviously, I have been calling myself an engineer, in some cases a programmer, a cybersecurity engineer, whatever you can call it. And, you know, I apparently have also been a dropout, which I don't hide. Now, obviously, me being a dropout, I don't have a degree, so I'm not a certified or licensed engineer. Now, I made a lot of videos in the past where I've taught you guys about computer safety, cybersecurity, a lot of this stuff, and I think that content stands up on its own. And I believe it actually can be used, you know, and people have learned from it, and I think that's great. Now, if you feel offended, if you feel wronged that I called myself an engineer while not being a degree-holding engineer, then for that I do apologize. And I will denigrate myself to, you know, I guess programmer or a fat Indian guy that knows a bit about computers. That's what I'll leave it at. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Now again, if you want to stick around, awesome. If you still feel wronged and this does not suffice for you, then I don't really give a f***. Simple as that. Now, again, that being said, if anything else comes out of this, you know, whether there be some legal stuff, then I'll just let lawyers handle it, and we'll call it at that. But that being said, I want to move forward, and that's pretty much the engineered response that I had to give.
So he finally had to degrade himself in front of squirming like the little worm he is. Okay, I'm being a little facetious there. I feel like that was a pretty good response. He has said that yes, he lied over the years. I feel like, you know, there should have been a couple tears. Come on, man. Give me a couple tears. God, give me some material to work with here. How am I supposed to make a thumbnail out of this? But I do like that Mutahar actually, you know, accepted the faults, alright? But there was a couple other claims, right? The whole entire thing. Well, I was the one that came out with these allegations against him. Well, actually, no, I didn't. It was Augie RC, but I was the one that did a little research into him actually fucking over, Oompaville, Call Me Chris, and Gamer from Mars in their one-up little skincare routine and how that was a fraud and shit. That one didn't get as much traction. Top right hand corner. Boys, get your favorites, get XQC to react to it. Put it in your favorite streamers' little, I don't know, subreddit. Get them to react to it. Let's get some more coverage on that because that one, a lot of people want some answers on it. Obviously, Mutahar isn't going to, answer any of that unless he gets any pressure, as you can see with the whole engineer situation. He really does need to be pressured on that so we can get the full story of what happened. So we can get the full story behind what happened, with One Up. Because that man really imploded that company. But he did say anything else other than this tiny little engineer drama, which I will be honest here, I feel like he really enjoyed this engineer drama because it was something to scapegoat a lot of other drama that seemed like it's coming out. Because Nick Andros did make a little hint at the end of his video, basically hinting at some big new revelations in the whole Someordinarygamers universe coming out. But obviously, until that comes out, we don't know what Nick Andros has up his sleeve. But so far with the engineering side, I feel like this is the end of the engineering saga, unless some more BS comes out. But also, it's kind of weird how Mutahar also hinted at this is probably not the end of any of his drama, because most people that are like clearing their consciousness are like, yo, this is like a weight off my shoulders. But here is, he still seemed very defensive with his I don't give a fuck at the end. It's just like, brother, this is an apology for lying to people for well over a decade about your credibility. Why are you being an asshole about it? And then on top of that, him hinting at, well, if anything else comes out, I'm not going to respond at all and allow the lawyers to handle it. So it seems like he's hinting at there's more skeletons in the closet and he's willing to fight them legally within a, court. Not a public opinion, an actual judge banging gavels and shit. So this man seems like he's preparing for an actual legal battle, which someone did actually report, Mutahar to the Ontario authorities because, it's actually illegal to claim that you're an engineer. Like, you actually have to go through school to become an engineer, which I'm gonna say that's how it should be. You shouldn't be able to just be like, I'm a doctor. Never went to medical school once. All right, that should not be a thing. So obviously on that saga, he's probably not gonna say what outcomes that come from it, which will probably be nothing, right? They're probably gonna investigate it, and they're probably gonna be like, well, he didn't do anything with his claims other than, just make assumptions on the internet. But also, I'm not an engineering police, all right? I don't know what their protocol is. Maybe he might get prison time for this. But it does seem like this man Mutahar is preparing for some kind of legal battle and some kind of pressure from, people continuing on, piling on more and more drama. Well, we're not even going to call some of the other things drama. We don't know what it is yet. But this man seems like he is preparing for something big to come out, and he's already, trying to prep his community for not wanting to actually respond to any of it. With, the claim of him saying, oh, well, anything else that comes out, I'll allow the lawyers to take care of it, which is basically just foreshadowing, yeah, something else is probably going to come out, and no, I'm not going to respond at all. But if you're confused by this video and out of the loop, click this video right here to find out the full story about this man lying for a full decade about what his career actually is. But boys, other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.